Hi guys, Bobby Gas here. I understand everybody's going to have to be wearing face masks all the time, and them little white ones aren't very fashion conscious. So I got this here little puppy right here. Well, there was a bunch of places. About a month ago, I seen what was going on, and I kind of figured that in order to get into some stores, you'd have to wear masks, and in some instances, you'd have to have a mask or they wouldn't let you in. And sure enough, it's already happened here within the last week or so here in Toronto. Some places you can't get in without a mask. So I prepared. Anyhow, yesterday I come home from the lawyers. I just finished my uh, lawyer action against that accident I was in 5 years ago, and I finally went up and signed the release papers up at the lawyer's place, and then told them to wire the money into my bank account. I don't want to go up there again and take a chance of catching that shit. Uh, I'll be getting over 30 grand. Anyhow, so when I come home from the lawyers, this is waiting in the there's this thing here is waiting in my doorway there from the mails. And what it happens to be, Andy Borders sent this. It's VCLT from Andy Borders. And what happened here is Andy had been away for quite some time. Andy's the guy who did this, the Dead Wax comic book, right? And Andy, he did this comic book and was going to do a second one, but then he wrecked his back, and that sort of screwed him up. But he had all of the artwork for the second comic in the printer shop, and a hurricane came and blew the printer shop away along with all of his art stuff. And he had paid some guy to put the balloons digitally on the comic or something like that. And Andy told me that he was so depressed that he just couldn't look at doing the second comic, and he decided he sent me the artwork, some of the artwork that he still had around. And that's what this is here. By the way, this comic here, this was the three best stories out of the vinyl community that were voted on in one of Andy's contests. So I entered it, but it was, you had to vote, right? So it's kind of like a popularity contest. And these three guys here won Tales from the Right, Tales from the Crate, Metal Mickey, and Vinyl Richie. And Vinyl Richie's story is just absolutely hilarious. Greatest rock and roll VC story I ever heard. Anyhow, Andy was gonna, he really liked the story I put in, but I didn't get any votes, right? I'm not a popular person. And so he said he'd like to, I says, well, if you like that story, I got lots of better stories than that. And I sent him to one of my videos that had a James Brown story when I seen James Brown in 1966. And anyhow, he thought that story was fabulous, and he was going to put it on in his second comic. And it got blown away. So let's see what Andy sent here. Right? Oh, let me get a knife. I'm going to need a knife. This is a knife. All right, here, let's go. Start cutting this tape. All right. Put that down. Fragile. Do not bend. Let's open her up. Oh, there's a note. Oh, look at this. Smart plate. Well, let's read the note first before we get into this thing. All right. All right, let's see here. Hey, Bobby Gass. I was able to dig up a few of the preliminary sketches for Tales from the Dead Wax #2. In brackets, the Bobby Gass special. Maybe he was putting in more than one story. I don't know. I got a lot of stories. The pages are numbered and in order. The word balloons were going to be put on digitally until the print shot blew away. Ha ha. Hopefully you will get some enjoyment out of the comic that almost was. If you find your James Brown story YouTube video, you can pretty much follow along with the pages. I was trying to keep it as true to your telling as possible. I threw in a few 45s, okay, oh boy, in here too. Nothing fancy, just some songs I thought you might like. Take care, my friend, Andy B. That's Andy Borders, the comic guy. That's what I calls him. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, look at that. A poster. Dead Wax, Tales from the First Thing. A poster. Oh, signed too, Andy B. Andy Borders. This must be a poster too. Andy Borders. Yeah, Jesus, I got 2 comics, and they're both, 1 or 2 of them are signed by Andy. Look at that. Nice posters, eh, guys? Yeah, I bet you some of you guys would like one of these, wouldn't you? Maybe one day I'll send one out in a contest, but damn contests, I don't like them. I had 24 subs on my last 2,400 subs, more than 2,400 subs on my last channel. I ran a contest and I only had 12 entries. I told you nobody likes me. Okay, let's see these pictures here. Oh, there's the 45s. We'll get into them in a minute. Let's see these pictures. Tales from the Dead Wax. Well, I guess that's supposed to be me. James Brown in concert. This is page 1. There's nothing on the back of it. That's 1. Page 1. Page 3. Well, that's when I was telling about all the bands that were at Maple Leaf Gardens. Elvis Presley, the Beatles, Bill Haley. That's me and my brother Ted. We went to the gig together. Look at the 5-star whiskey, a bottle of 5-star whiskey. Teddy broke it, and we had it in his belt, and he got soaked all the way up and down. All right, now after page 3 is page 5. Looks like page 2 is missing. There's James and the Famous Flames. Up there. Oh, and there's when I jumped up on the stage. James is saying, "What the F you?" And the drummer is, "Look at that white boy go." I was a pretty good dancer, actually. Here's page 7. Looks like only the odd pages he's got here. No even pages. Oh, yeah, there's the 2 bouncer guys that come out when I was on stage, and they picked me up and they tossed me about 20 feet into the crowd. Here's page 9, just all odd ones. And there's when I jumped back up on the stage, and at the end of the show, and a band member asked me if I wanted to see James, so I went downstairs into the basement and sat in his limo and met James and had my arm around him and everything. Well, there you go. Page 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. 5 pages. Was that ever neat, Andy? Thanks a lot. I love this. This is fantastic. Too bad you didn't have the pages in between. If you did, I'd have had somebody make this thing up myself. With the money I got, I'd have done that. All right, let's have a look at the 45s. Oh boy. Neat, huh? Wow, Andy. 45s too. Holy shit. Oh. Oh, they got tape on them. Hang on, guys. I got to untape this stuff. Hell Comics Company. I guess that was the company that we're gonna maybe do the comic for him. I don't know. Close her up. It's not a bow. There we are. I forgot how to close my knife. Excuse me, I gotta blow my schnoz, guys. I got a leaky nose. It's from my father. I remember about 10 years ago, we were over at my brother's, and there was a whole bunch of guys from the old days, and one guy leans over to my brother. I'm blowing my nose every 5 minutes, and he goes, "Is your brother Bobby doing coke again?" Then he just laughs at him, looks, and he says, no, he's got his father's nose. Pop always had a leaky nose and the sneezies. He always had a wet handkerchief hanging out of his back pocket. Oof. All right, let's see them 45s. Okay, here. Oh, look at this. An old cadence, Poetry in Motion, Johnny Tillotson. Princess on the other side. Poetry in motion, walking by my side. Poetry in motion. This was not this was I guess this was a fair-sized hit back in the day. It's on Cadence, too, an old label. I love Cadence labels. Neat. Okay. Oh, on an old blue London label. Let's get that tape off of there. Ay. There we go. Well, almost got there. Hang on, guys. The next one here is Slim Jim Creep. Ted Heath and his music on an old blue London label, which is made in England, if I'm correct. Yeah, an English one. Ted Heath. I know that name, Ted Heath. The original Creep. Well, I'll have to check that. It sounds familiar to me, but I just can't place it. Be interesting to find out. Not often somebody gives me a 45 that I just can't right off the bat pick out, right? Not often at all. Oh, what's this? Cash Records. Never heard of them. Hollywood. Jiving Around. The Ernie Freeman Combo. Jazz? Jiving Around. Nah, it sounds like maybe some of that late 40s, early 50s that stayed around, that boogie woogie stuff, jump music, Ernie Freeman Combo. That'll be interesting. I'd like to check that out. Two interesting ones. Neat. And more tape. Good tape, too. Some tape you buy isn't very good, eh? Must be made in China. Stick their products over here. No more buying from China. I don't give a shit. It's bad. On the G label, geez, I don't type too many from G, let me tell you. Frankie Lyman, Creation of Love. So this has to be probably early 60s and goody goody, because it's just Frankie Lyman, it's not the teenagers. Where did he get himself in trouble? Got all that money and started screwing around with the white girls, and, that wasn't allowed back then. Frankie Lyman. Just by himself, not with the teenagers. So this must have been a little later. We got two more here. Oh, a King label. All right. Bill Doggett, Slow Walk. And Hand in Hand. Bill Doggett's, what the hell's that song of his? An old standard rock and roll. My brain ain't working. Still early. It's still early. King label. I love King labels. King, Federal, Chess, Alligator. There's a lot of labels I guess I like. King's one of my faves. And Chubby Checker on the old Parkway label. Spread Joy and Hey Baba Needle. Hey Baba Needle. Well, thanks a lot. Andy, you didn't have to send all that extra crap. That's very, very nice of you, eh? I mean, I didn't do nothing for you. All I ever did was send you a Christmas card. Well, buddy. Later. Thanks, Andy. Fantastic. Later, guys. Anybody out there want to draw Andy's comic? There's some artists out there. We ought to have a VC comic book. I mean, Andy started the ball rolling, and anybody going to pick up the reins? Anyhow, I keep trying to close this thing with my mouse instead of up here on the phone.